Hi everyone, I'm the plant propagator and welcome to my channel. Today I am back in Southwest Florida. I don't know if you could tell, but I was out of town for a couple of weeks. Had to take care of some family things, family issues in the Midwest US. So it was getting a little chilly there. We were getting frost, close to freezing weather, and here not even close. It is 82 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 28 degrees Celsius. A beautiful day, a few clouds in the sky. It's just nice. What I wanted to do today is share with you some of the things that I came back to. So you never know what you're going to find when you're gone for a little bit of time. So this was 2 weeks. The irrigation was on, the rain was on. It didn't rain that much. It's getting in the dry season. But you really don't know what you're going to find. I always try to keep very good track of my orchids, but things just kind of show up and you don't know what is going to happen. One of the things that did happen that surprised me a little bit, and what we're going to do, is take a look through everything. This is one of my Vandas. It was in bloom before I left a couple of weeks ago, still in full bloom. But what we're also going to take a look at is a first bloom on another Vanda that's also an unregistered hybrid from RF Orchids. And I told the folks at RF that I would, after bloom, I would collect images of it and send it to them, and then they're gonna name it and register it. So, but that's a little later. But we're gonna take a look at a lot of things, and there's a lot going on. So hopefully this video won't be too long, but let's just see how it goes. But one of the things that I was getting to, that I came back to, is this. And you're asking, what is this? It's not a cigar. And you can do that with a cigar and it'll smell pretty good. But this is actually a seed capsule from a vanilla orchid. And so what happens is with these things, and this is my first successful pollination of a vanilla orchid, and I didn't know what to expect. I got a couple of capsules to form. People call them pods. They're not pods. I've been corrected by the botanists that said no, only things like beans form pods. This is a capsule. This is a seed capsule of an orchid, and I didn't really know. I've never done this before. I've never harvested it and tried to develop the fragrance. And I was a little surprised. What happens, I got back and the bottom of this capsule was brown. And it had started to split. And I was surprised that just this, and you're supposed to harvest them when the bottom of the capsule's just starting to turn yellow and not split yet, but this one had already split. And I was shocked and surprised that there's already fragrance that's developing from this seed capsule right when it was splitting. It was a surprise to me because I've never done it before. And I'm not going to share with you how to do it. It's my first time doing this. But so what you do is you put this in hot water and let it have a combination of wrapping it up and letting things kind of develop, and then opening them up so that they don't get moldy, and kind of back and forth a few times. But this thing has already started to develop some really nice fragrance. So when I kind of open this up and leave it out, I put it on my front lanai, and the whole front lanai smells like fragrance. When I touch this at the base right here, the vanilla is so strong that it's mostly what I smell on my fingers for the rest of the day. So this is kind of exciting. And I didn't catch it at the right time, but we're going to take a look at the other capsule that's forming that's a little smaller than this, and I'll try to capture that at the right time. So what I want to do is get behind the camera, hopefully not too long, and I'm not going to highlight really anything, certainly not as much as this. But we're just going to take a look around, and then in future videos we're focusing on certain other things. I've got a lot going on within the next couple of weeks. There's lots of orchid ventures going on, lots of orchid VIPs that are coming in town, and I'll share all of that with you, and I'll try to kind of highlight some of the videos that I have that I'm preparing. But for right now, let me get behind the camera and kind of show you what I came back to after being away for a few weeks. Okay, and we are back. So this is, I guess this, if you've been watching me for a while, this is not really anything new. This is Wu Lang, and this is always in bloom, and there's a big plant, there's blooms there are blooms there, there's blooms there, other side of the fence there, over here, right there. Oh, and another bloom spike coming out there. So this is Wu Lang that's always loaded. There's a no ID Dendrobium right here that's actually in a pot that goes back all the way over here, and there's no media in this pot. So this fell off the shelf a few years ago, and I just put the plant in the pot, and there's nothing in the pot except the plant. Also, while I'm here, all right, so this is Wu Lang that's right here. So this is from a cane that, if I follow it back, I don't know if you can tell right there at the base, it cracked. And so what's going on after it cracked, there's a keiki growing out right there, and then another one growing out right here. So as soon as these guys, the roots are starting to grow out on this one, but what I do on this is I just cut off the whole cane and just attach it to the tree. So I'll just attach the cane itself to the tree, and the plants will grow up and out. One of the other things while I'm here, and we're going to have to zoom in a little bit, there's another Dendrobium back there that's blooming that I didn't see. It's way in the back. So this is a den that unfortunately I don't have a name on, or the name that was on the tag actually doesn't exist. So I don't know what that is, but anyway, another den. Most of my seedlings, I got seedlings there. We're going to take a look at a bunch more. They look pretty good. Nothing really exceptional here that I came back to, other than just to say, oh, look at this. So this is a vanilla orchid, and I think the pot that this vanilla orchid is coming out of is down there on the bottom of my shelf. Those are all Maikais also at the bottom, but this thing just grew up on its own, found the trunk of my bougainvillea, and are now making its way up there. I showed you the vanilla bean, the capsule that I had, and that's another capsule forming right there. And this vanilla vine goes up through there. It actually goes all over the place through there, but then, I don't know if you can see, it's growing up my shed and into the top of the bougainvillea. So this is how vanilla grows here, and it just grows nice, and it grows crazy. Up here, I'm just happy. A lot of my orchids are doing pretty well. These are a couple of my seedlings that I've got, and I should say that I put these in. This is the base of a petiole that I think is from, I think it might be a midrib, not a base of a petiole, but a midrib from a royal palm that came down. So I've got two different seedlings that I attached there with those rubber bands. That's the black rubber bands. Shoved some good quality sphagnum moss in there a few months ago, and they seem to be doing well. I've got some other orchids that I just have mounted Again, using rubber bands on these boards, and those seem to be doing well also. Smaller mounts back there, and Cyclia tampensis in the middle. But as we move over, this is a little bit new. So I don't know if you can see the flower spike right here, but this is Jamaica Red, a division of Jamaica Red, and it's going to flower. This is in Cyclia tampensis right here, and I have it on a piece of driftwood. This driftwood sat for a while, but the interesting thing is it's sitting on this driftwood, but if you take a look at it, and this is what happens here. Get this out of the way. So the roots came off of the driftwood and have attached to the fence, you know, above and below, and I'm going to have to rip the roots off to get this plant off if I want to do that. But, you know, again, new growth coming out. To the left is a new, new pseudobulb on this Cyclia tampensis that's on this piece of driftwood. In here, not a whole lot. I mean, my seedlings. These are some of my seedlings, and you know, and then they're doing good. And I don't know, not much to say here. Here's another Cyclia tampensis that just a couple of pseudobulbs that just kind of fell off of a plant that I had, and it's not attached yet. This is just, hopefully it'll live. I don't know. Other here, I want to show you this because this is going to be the subject of a future video right here. Not everything is good when you come back. So this is not going to make it. I just doubt it. This plant, I struggled to keep it alive. It's a fairly recent purchase. So I'm going to talk about why people kill their orchids, and you know, happens to me, happens to most people, but that's a teaser for a future video. Looks bad, and it is bad, and I don't think it's going to make it. I do also want to show you this. This is Lorianne, and this is a seedling, one of my seedlings that I had. It's a progeny plant from Lorianne Paradise, but which means that its name is Lorianne, but it doesn't have the cultivar designation. And it looks a little bit different. If you're familiar with Lorianne Paradise, it looks a little different from that. Okay, other stuff here, I'm not really sure there's anything here that I need to focus on right now, but I do want to show you this. This is one of my Vandas. One of my old Vandas, and there's an old bloom spike right there, and look at that. This was not blooming when I left, but you know, really nice blooms coming out on this new bloom spike. And then I saw this when I got back. This is a keiki back here. Look at that. If you can't tell, that's another bloom spike coming out on the keiki. So they're starting to do well. Nothing else here that is really noteworthy. This is the Vanda, but I think I've shared this with you previously, so I don't need to harp on this. I've sent images of this flower. This is the one that was next to me in the opening part of this video. And I sent images of this flower back to RF Orchid, who made the cross that generated this plant. It's just sitting on the side of this tree, doing really well. Okay, moving on just a little bit, just so you can see, these are some of my seedlings here. And some of them are getting big. Look at that, yikes. Yeah, even the den right there, that's pretty big. That's a seedling that I generated. But, you know, starting to look big, starting to look nice. Some of these, and just so you know, I'm going up to Sundance Orchids in Bromeliads in Fort Myers. They're having their 25th anniversary sale. I think maybe not this week, but next week. So coming up pretty soon. And I'm bringing up some of the seedlings and some other ones to that. So Jackie is going to be selling my seedlings in Fort Myers at Sundance Orchids. in bromeliads during their 25th anniversary sale. But lots of really nice ones. So there's some catasetums in there, Certipodium, the native Certipodiums, the butterfly orchid right there, and some in my hybrids that are in there, but a bunch of stuff. And we'll see what she wants, and we'll see what she sells. Okay, moving on. I don't think there's much going on here. If you look around until we get over to here, and this was new, and this was a little bit of a surprise. So these are not open yet, but these are flowers and this is one of Jim Roberts' hybrids. And it's named, as you might imagine, Suncoast or Florida Suncoast something. The tag is back there. I don't know what it is. It's going to be the first bloom coming out on this. So I'm really excited to see what this looks like. I think it's supposed to be a yellow, but I don't know. I got it from him not quite 2 years ago, and it hasn't bloomed yet. So I'm excited that it's about to bloom, and I'm excited to see what it looks like. Moving on here, I don't think there's anything noteworthy. Again, some of my seedlings in there that are getting big, doing well. Go through here as we go through here. This is, once again, clear stars. And this is kind of an old bloom. This has lost a little bit of its splendor. It's kind of faded a little bit. It's got a little browning at the end of the lip. But bloom's been on there for a while. It opened actually before I left over 2 weeks ago. And okay, as we move on from clear stars, I do have to go down here. And this is going to be another first bloom on this plant. So as we look down there, I don't know if you can see, but it's another plant that I got from Jim Roberts at Florida Suncoast. So first bloom on this. This is not one of his hybrids. This is one that he just happened to be selling. So yeah, I'm excited. That wasn't there before, so I'm really excited that is coming and that we're going to see that. More of the, again, I got Wulang. It's always blooming, and then there's another bloom spike right there, so it's doing well. As we move on here, I don't know if there's anything here that I need to go over. I mean, they're looking, most of the orchids are looking good in here. This is a Momolani rainbow. There is a pot underneath all those roots, but apparently that's doing really well. It likes being there. I do have to show you this. This is kind of interesting. This was a seedling, and I don't know what it was, but it was a seedling that didn't look really good, and I just rubber band attached it to the tree, and the roots, I call that a lot of growth. The roots just grabbed on, and that's gonna do well. I do this a lot. I just stick plants in different places. I should have them better labeled. As we move over here, this is something that's new. So this is Monthatip Gold. This bloomed for me a couple of years ago. And what's going on right here is in this sheath, I can feel down here in the sheath, and there's flowers forming there. So I'm happy that after a couple of years, and there was a repot last year, but after a couple of years, I'm going to get a bloom on Monthatip Gold. Okay, moving over here, one of the things that I do, so just so you see, this is Kenneth Biven right here. And this was getting like too much sun. It was sitting on this table, and in the peak of the day, because the sun is so low in the sky, it was getting a lot of sun, so I had to move it to a chair and kind of nestle it back in my other, underneath the palm trees a little bit more. Moving over here, I'm happy to share this with you. This is another Encyclia tampensis that I grew from seed, a really large plant. This is the one that was loaded with seed capsules, most of which I pulled off and didn't have anything. They didn't have any seed in them, seed capsules, but no seed. And then there were two that were still look green and still good. The one that was green that I harvested by accident, I got nice seeds out of. And there's one more right there. And this this seed capsule right here, I think is, it's going to give me, I think, good viable seed. Okay, moving on. I don't think there's anything over here that I wanted to share with you. And even the seedlings that I have grown, I mean, they're doing well. So these are seedlings that I have growing back here in these pots. I think they're doing okay. Oh, I did want to show you this. This is the maxillaria right here. I don't know how well you can see it. This is a maxillaria that's from my daughter. This is part of from the Plant Propagator Junior. And so I just rubber band attached it to the tree, and we'll see. We'll see how it grows. You know, the Vanda's on the tree. Look at, you know, the root systems. They're doing well. Look at that root coming out of there. That's a big root. And so all these Vandas are doing really well. And even when you take a look at, this is a Vanda that I talked to you about a little bit earlier. This is an unregistered hybrid from RF Orchids. And so this is a new, the flowers aren't completely open yet. I think it's cool. You know, you look at the back of the flowers, how they have the little twisting, but my understanding is that's kind of normal. That's what you see, is the twisting behind the flower. But, you know, really nice bloom coming out on this plant, first bloom. And I'm sorry if I'm not getting a good image of it, but it's really, the sun's really bright out here today. Okay, the other thing, so this is, again, that's the first bloom that I think almost anyone has gotten. Not quite, you know, it's big blooms. It's got a lot coming out still. Not fragrant yet, but I'm waiting for that. Up above it is another one that seems to be doing, another Vanda that seems to be doing really well. This is Vanda Salina. And this is a big plant. You know, the roots, most of the roots that are growing down are from this. Most of the roots that are growing up in this tree are also from that Vanda Salina. But when you look at the Vanda right now, it has 3 bloom spikes open. Smaller flower, certainly compared to the larger flowers on this one. I mean, they're pretty. It's a nice flower. But it is, there are 3 bloom spikes that are coming out on this. But in addition to those 3 bloom spikes, some of the keikis, I'm not going to be able to see it, but there's other keikis that are in here that are putting out yet additional bloom spikes. And then when you go to the top of the plant, this is actually a keiki that the top of the plant died, and then it put out in a different direction. It put out this keiki on the top of the plant. And this has 2 bloom spikes. I don't know if you can see them coming out on the left and the right of this keiki. So this plant is doing pretty well. This Vanda Salina is doing extremely well in this location. It's got a lot of blooms on it, keikis, and then more blooms coming. Okay, moving on. Let's go over to the orchid pergola. And this is right here. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see too much because the sun is just smack in my eyes. Can't see anything. Hopefully you can see well. But there's a lot of stuff going on in here. And so when you look at, let's take a look at this catasetum here. The catasetum itself doesn't look great, but this is Graham wood. This is a Fred Clark hybrid. It already put out a bloom spike there, but it's got another bloom spike coming out right here on this plant. And then I think if you look around back, there's another bloom spike coming out from the back side. I don't know if it's a bloom or I think it's a bloom spike, but I'm not sure what it is exactly that's coming out on this plant. If that's another shoot or a bloom spike. That's definitely a bloom spike, I know. Okay, moving down just a little bit. This is some more blooms coming out of Mayaka stars. This is a Brassivola Mayaka stars, another hybrid made from Jim Roberts, a really small flowering plant, but incredibly vigorous and very tough. The other thing that I saw when I came back, I'm going to pull right up in the sun, I'm going to pull this plant down so we can take a look at it. But right there, you can see in the middle of the plant is a bloom spike, and this will be my first bloom coming out on Cherry Blossom is the name of this Vanda hybrid. So yay, all excited about that. Moving on here, there is back there, and I'm not going to be able to get back to see all of these things. So this is Baranapan Nikon right here, that bloom in the middle. As we kind of pull back here, oh man, right in the sun, I timed this perfectly. There is, right here is Volcano Pride, Volcano Queen, another bloom coming out on that. And what I'm gonna do, I just want to show you what's here in a very general sense, and then we're going to take a closer look at it later. But right in the sun is the yellow is Nellhammer. To the left right there is Wyanai Starburst. Again, I'm going to have to pull these all down and take a look at take a better look at them as we go. I just kind of want to give you a general overview of what's going on, and just so you can see what I saw. What did I see? Oh yeah, over here. I forgot. I missed this one. Over here is first bloom right there. So this is first bloom on this Cattleya right back there. So I forgot, but you know, that wasn't there before. So I'm excited that I got a first bloom on that coming. I think I've been through here and I've seen most of the stuff. This is Cattleya McGarland, one of my new favorites. This has been blooming for a couple of weeks, but still nicely fragrant, really nice flower. I like it. It's a primary hybrid, and one of my new favorites here. And over here, if you can tell, that's a seed capsule. I made a cross on it because I like it so much. Over here, just a little bit, is Mari's Glory. I'm not going to be able to show this to you very well, but that's okay. We'll get another look at all these later. So this is Mari's Glory right here. Right behind that is Yellowbird, and Yellowbird is loaded. So there's a lot of Yellowbird flowers that are open. Seed capsule on my Yellowbird right there. Moving on, I think this might be second to last one right here. This is Hamlin's Magic right here, and there's two new flowers there. There's another, now another flower there, another flower there, and of course, I don't know if you can tell, seed capsule right in the middle there. The last one that I want to show you, not quite open yet, is right up there, and you can't tell, but that's Amazing Thailand, blooming yet again. This blooms every few months. It's actually got a seed capsule on it now that's starting to form. I harvested a seed capsule from it a few weeks ago. What a great plant this is. So, yikes. More seedlings there, more seedlings there. It's great. It's great to be back here. I'm sorry, I just wanted to give you an idea of what I came back to. A lot going on. I didn't really show you anything in great detail, but I just wanted to give you an idea, a little bit of a flavor of how the orchids are growing and how they were growing when I left. I did miss this one right here, didn't I? So this is Gretchen Garrick. It's right there, and that's an old bloom right there, but right behind it, you can see, I think, a new bloom coming out. So I missed that one as we went through. There's a lot of orchids packed in there. So I do the best I can. Hopefully I didn't miss too much. All right, that's all I have for you today. I'll get more videos to you with more detail of these different flowers. But again, I just wanted to give you an overview. I hope you enjoyed my video today. If you did and you want to keep on seeing them, it would help me out if you can click on like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. All right, that's all I have for you. Again, I hope you enjoyed today's video and happy propagating.